That's the ruination of America's children. Everybody gets a medal. Everybody gets a trophy. Everybody goes to the pizza parlor, Shakey's.
I didn't know we were getting Plaschke, old man, yelling at the kids hour here.
I know.
Hello and welcome back to Dodgers Debate. On the road episode for me. Dylan and Plaschke are back in LA, although it appears to
Apparently
be
on the road for Dylan. Dylan, where are you at?
Yeah.
Are you in a car?
Yeah, I didn't tell you I'm living out of my car now.
Dylan, we had one hour, 1.5 hour a week. You can't find a house or someplace to do it. You gotta do it in your car.
I'm at my daughter's track meet, man. I'm trying
Come
to be
on.
a supportive parent here.
I found a nice little seat up here in the Wrigley Field stands. Let's see. Yeah, it's a
That's
beautiful
beautiful.
day here in Chicago. Well, yeah, we are recording before the Dodgers series finale against the Cubs here at Wrigley this week. So a lot happened in the first. What? Oh yeah, we got people back here.
The fans behind you.
Hang on,
hey guys.
Here, I'll go find a quieter spot. But okay, the Dodgers this is going to be game 25 for them tonight. They're 16-8 coming into this, and yet it feels like, and was especially epitomized to me in Tuesday night's game, that this, I don't know, it still just doesn't seem like a team that is kind of playing close to top form at the moment. Nights where they get good pitching, the offense has been inconsistent. Nights like Tuesday where the offense finally has a really strong game. It was their first time scoring 10 runs this season, and in game 24, Dustin May has a bad start. The bullpen gives up a late lead. And I don't know, again, for a team that's 16-8 and on pace for like 105 wins right now, or how have you guys just graded this opening kind of act of the season?
My whole question is, what's with Tanner Scott? That's my concern. He's allowed base runners in like 8 of his 10 appearances or something. He's always in trouble out there. Is he the closer? I mean, that's I think all the concerns are around him right now, aren't they?
I mean, he's the closer right now, especially with Blake Trinan. He went on the IL this week with a forearm strain that wasn't the worst case scenario, but it's probably going to keep him sidelined for at least the near future here. Yeah, I mean, with Tanner Scott, Dave Roberts' explanation to this has been he's kind of a slow starter. If you look at his career, it takes a little while for the velo to kick all the way up to where, we saw it last October, obviously, when he was so dominant for the Padres. I mean, the way I look at it, it's kind of like an example of the team, right? Like his numbers are still okay. I think he's got like a 2.8 ERA. He's gotten the save in 8 of 10 appearances, but yeah, has also looked a little shaky, has given up a lot of hits, gave up a home run on a bad pitch Tuesday night. And I would put in the bucket of, one of these guys that isn't playing close to his best right now and has been productive most of the time when he's gone out there, but has also looked a little bit susceptible.
Yeah, I mean, that would be all the problems they have. That'd be the one that clears out to me. Dylan, what do you think?
I mean, outside of the opening night in Chicago, though, right? I mean, I do think kind of in this last, week or so, the bullpen seems to have become like a strength. I mean, for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, the bullpen overall has been very good.
Well, it's fun, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of more the hitting, isn't it? I don't know. It seems every time I, turn on the TV, switch over, I've been obviously watching NBA playoffs, but whenever I switch on to the Dodgers, it seems Ohtani's striking out. And the fact that, like, again, he's not going, it doesn't seem like the offense is going great. The fact that they're 16-8 at this point, I think is probably a good sign. We've seen this team, rip 30, 40 games out of I think one time, it's like 39-11 over a 50-game stretch. I think they even bettered that at some point. I imagine once they kind of start hitting a stretch like that is coming. So the fact that the bullpen for the most part has been pretty good, I think is actually kind of a good sign.
What about Dustin May?
He's somebody who had talked all spring about it's really important that he lands a sweeper and that he is able to throw it for strikes. He couldn't do that the other night. He got ambushed in the first inning. It was his first kind of bad start. And I think the rotation at large right now is fine. If we're more worried about the offense, pretty confident about the bullpen. I think the rotation as a whole falls somewhere in the middle at the moment, as much because of the fact that guys like Dustin May, like Tyler Glasnow, who had a cramping episode in Texas this past week, Roki Sasaki, obviously, all of them are still kind of getting their footing. The problem is that they don't have Blake Snell. Dave Roberts said that they had to scrap a planned bullpen for him this week in Chicago because he still didn't feel right while playing catch. Tony Gonsolin's coming back from injury. That's going to help. But, the depth piece of it at the moment, like in this game, in this final game in Chicago, like they're already having to go with the bullpen game. And I think you've seen a little bit that, at least for how talented we thought this rotation was going to be coming into the year, it hasn't quite been at that reliable level, which is why the bullpens had to pick up so much of the slack, even in a game like Tuesdays in Chicago, where they had to come in after Dustin May, kind of had to grind through 5 innings. And again, it's just kind of been this kind of feel that I've been sitting with here the last week. Like even when they swept the Rockies and won 2 or 3 in Texas, to then have that kind of game like they did Tuesday. I think when you just look at the opening month overall, it's like, yeah, like who do you really point at as like the guys that are really clicking? Like maybe Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Tommy Edman, Will Smith, although he picked up like a wrist injury applying a tag at the plate Tuesday night. It's just kind of hard to pinpoint, again, for a team that's playing so well, it's hard to pinpoint exactly, the guys that have lived all the way up to expectations to this point.
Is the Snell thing, how bad is that? I mean, did they replace, signing him in part, I think, was a reaction to, Glass now being Glass now, right? Not be right. I think it was pretty established last year. Okay, he's never going to make it through a season healthy. Then they get this guy, and now they have to shut him down, or like again at this point.
Yeah.
Is this a concern?
To Dave Roberts, it's not.
Did they replace Glass with Glass?
Is there any concern? Is there any concern at all in the Dodger clubhouse? There doesn't seem to be any concern at all from the Dodgers, from anybody.
Yeah, I think with Snell's situation, he comes into a new team. I think he really wanted to start the season well. If you think back to the start of spring training, like he came out in his first start of spring, was throwing 97, 98 miles an hour, and might have simply just kind of like ramped up too quick, or just gotten a place where, like he said, his shoulder started bugging him even a couple weeks before he went on the IL. I don't think this latest situation, Dave Roberts said he's going to get re-examined when the team gets back to LA. They might look at some other treatment options. I think this is reflective of, and Dave Roberts said this much himself, of the fact that the team is not going to push guys right now. So, look, maybe if it was a different point of the year, Blake Snell would be on a faster track to returning. But Dave Roberts said in his pregame scrum Wednesday that, the message from the team to Snell has been, if you're feeling anything, let's not try to fight through it. What's important is getting to the end of the season, keeping you healthy for the long run. So I think this still falls in that category. But I do think right now what you're seeing is, they're going to slow play him a little bit. There was initially some hope that he might only be out a couple weeks. I think given the way this has developed so far, it's going to stretch out a little longer. And in the meantime, it's going to create some complications with their pitching plan. Dave Roberts said he doesn't want to be doing regular bullpen games. But the way I look at it, I think it's going to be tough for them not to have to do an occasional bullpen game, or not to have to keep turning back to guys like Bobby Miller or Landon Knack. Even when Tony Gonsolin returns and gives them 5 healthy starters, because they don't want Yoshinobu Yamamoto pitching on normal rest, because they really don't want Roki Sasaki pitching on normal rest, there's going to be a lot of holes to fill into the rotation. I think that's the thing in the short term that they're going to have to try to navigate a little bit, even starting with this series here at Wrigley.
It's amazing. You can see why everybody wants to play for the Dodgers. You can show up in April and just hang out until October. I mean, no worries, no problems, slow play, take your time, get ready. It's amazing.
This is something that kind of applies like team-wide right now in the way they're dealing with a lot of situations, from Snell to Shohei Ohtani to some other guys. They're still winning games, but how do you kind of balance like this need to, try to be successful in the present while also trying to protect guys longer term?
Well, they've kind of bought themselves out of kind of the injury problem.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, I do think we've talked before about just kind of how they, injure their young pitchers. Now I'm kind of starting to wonder, I mean, do they have a problem even with like old pitchers? Like if you come here, is there something that they're doing that just like hurts these guys? In which case, like you kind of have to do what they're doing, which is to kind of buy in bulk, right? I mean, Plasch, now you were around, right, back in the old days, Jack, when you were still like in high school probably, but it does make you appreciate, doesn't it, Plasch? Like the Kershaw, the Greinke's, the every, 5 days kind of taking the ball. You knew that they were going to pitch deep into the game.
I think baseball I miss it. I think
Days off for the
baseball.
bullpen.
Yeah, I miss it. I think baseball fans miss it. The Dodgers, those days are gone. I think the bottom line is the Dodgers, having won a championship, they bought themselves all this credibility now. They can really do whatever they want, and I can't question it because it worked last year. Whatever they're doing, it worked. If they're going to try to do it again,
It did barely work.
but it worked. Well, it wasn't barely. I mean, they won the championship pretty hand,
Well,
except for the Padres.
from
Game five of the
from
Padres.
from a pitching standpoint, they barely
Right.
had enough to make it work.
I wonder, right? I mean, we've talked before about kind of that, what was it, the 2016 series against Washington, where they kind of pieced it together and Kershaw closed it out. And there, like everything just kind of went according to plan, right? When, they had basically like no margin for error. Everything kind of fit exactly the right way. And they almost, it felt like they spent years kind of trying to duplicate that almost, right? To their detriment. And I do kind of wonder, because they got away with this last year with this type of strategy, is this kind of making this type of stuff kind of okay? Again, they bought themselves some margin, but I do think as time kind of goes on, right, some of these contracts might not look as good, in a couple of years. I do kind of wonder, right? I mean, to Jack's point, maybe not necessarily this year, but a year or two down the road, does this situation look different and possibly cost them, run out of championship in that year?
Well, the
Because we
Dodgers
know they're
don't care
not
about down
dead,
the
right?
road.
They're talking about multiple championships here. And that is the expectation now.
Yeah, but they've proven they don't care about down the road. They're trying to win. They're working everything for right now. It's just bizarre how they're just going along. Like, of course, like I said, they have one of the top records in baseball still one of the best teams. But I agree with Jack. It just doesn't feel like it.
All right, well, let's look ahead real quick because we're going to have a very interesting pitching matchup on Friday with Dylan's guy against maybe his stiffest competition in the Cy Young race, at least early in the season. Paul Skeens against
That's right.
Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
The Cy Young is as much of a narrative award as it is a performance award, and everybody loves Skeens. Hardly anybody knows Yamamoto, but everybody loves Skeens. So I say Skeens would be the favorite for the Cy Young right now.
I noticed Jack really kind of leaning into the Yamamoto narrative the last time Yamamoto pitched.
He outpitched Jacob deGrom. I mean, it was maybe his best start as a Dodger, what he did in Texas last week. And I think was kind of like the epitome of this, what we've talked about for a while now, this comfort, this confidence that he has, and this ability to kind of like embrace really big moments that I think you saw start at Yankee Stadium last year, continued over the course of the playoffs. And he made it pretty clear, like pitching against deGrom, like that was a big deal to him. That was a game that meant a lot. And I think this game on Friday night against Skeens might be a similar thing where it's this kind of showcase pitching matchup. And he's getting some early opportunities here in games that will attract some eyeballs around people across the baseball world to kind of show like, look, yeah, I showed it in flashes last year, but right now I'm going week after week after week early in the season, pitching against big names, pitching well. So that's why I was really impressed by what he did in Texas this past weekend. And I'm really interested to see how Friday night's game looks and just kind of another opportunity to make like an early season statement for him.
Well, Jack, are you the one asking the Cy Young questions now? Are you the one asking Jay Roberts?
I don't need to. I have so many banked from Dylan's columns earlier this year. We can just dip into the quote archive.
You know what else is going on in baseball? It's really big. Our producer, Mark Potts, has become a baseball coach. Isn't that right, Mark? Talk to us, Mark.
I don't want to brag, but there are some 6 to 8 year olds who are learning a lot of valuable lessons.
Are you winning, or are you like Ted Lasso and losing while giving these lessons?
Winning is overrated.
Oh, says the losing manager. Do they call you Coach Mark or Coach Potts? What do they call you?
They call me Charlie's dad. So it's been a lot of fun. They're really good at missing ground balls, but it's fun.
Yeah. So here's the question: did the Dodgers get overshadowed by the Lakers and the Clippers this weekend?
Well, I don't know. You guys are watching basketball games this week instead of baseball games.
I think the Dodgers are clearly the number one team in town still, more than ever, probably even during the playoffs. That's what it seems like.
I don't know, Dylan. You don't think that Kawhi performance has stirred the Clippers fans of LA back out of the shadows?
Clippers fans are like Galaxy fans or LAFC fans, there is a core group there, but like outside of that, it's kind of hard
Kings
to get
fans.
some traction.
There's more Kings fans than Clippers fans.
Dave Roberts, JJ Redick, Ty
Mark
Lue,
Potts.
and Mark
Mark
Potts.
Potts.
That's right. The four
Mark
big
Potts,
coaches in
that's
LA.
it.
Mark Potts, who has a losing record, but tries to say it's okay because the kids are having fun. Coach Charlie's dad, you got to win, Charlie's dad. You got to win. It's not about having fun. The hell with having fun.
Well, the Dodgers are winning.
That's the ruination of America's children. Everybody gets a medal. Everybody gets a trophy. Everybody goes to the pizza parlor Shakey's and gets a medal for just showing up. Come on, Mr. Potts. Come on, Kurt Charlie's dad. Win, win, win.
I didn't know we were getting Plaschke, old man, yelling at the kids hour here.
I know.
Next week, we'll try to get back in the studio together. But yeah, Dodgers, I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of bored with the season right now. Like, they're going to make the playoffs either way. And then
Jack, it's your job to make it interesting.
Come on, Jack. Win, win, win.
Job to make it interesting. Go find some controversy. I bet there are two guys in that clubhouse that hate each other. Find
Next week, Jack, has some controversy for us. Have a clubhouse fight, a clubhouse argument.
I'll do my best.
Thanks, Jack. Thanks, Dylan.
All right.
All right,
We'll talk
see
to
you
you
guys.
guys later.
Thanks, Charlie's dad.